Welcome in, welcome back, welcome to Stream-of-Unconsciousness, where the subject's made up and the words don't matter. Today, I thought we'd go through the Dungeon Dwellers Kickstarter miniature set that I had backed. Let's take a step back. About 2 years ago, Reaper had a Kickstarter for their Dungeon Dwellers minigame. It came with core rule books and had all kinds of fun miniatures and everything. I did not back the rule books specifically because I don't have a lot of time to game anymore. It's just that I have a lot of stuff that I would love to do, and I have many rule books for many games, and I just don't have time. But I do like painting miniatures, and just in case, I realized that I don't actually have that many monster miniatures. I have a lot of character miniatures of various stripes, and I do have some monsters, but not a lot. And this seemed like an easy way to get my hands on a number of really nice monster miniatures without spending $1 billion trying to do this. So I have opened this, clearly. It's been a while since I received this, and I've already painted some of the miniatures, and some of them I have loose that are sort of going to be in the paint queue in the not too distant future. But I wanted to go through what came in the box of this. Is basically like the basic starter set that I got. There were some add-ons that were added in automatically because of stretch goals, and there was other stuff that you could purchase that I did not. But this is basically the basic Kickstarter set with the stretch goal miniatures added. So as I said, I've got a couple painted and loose. I will go through those first because they're outside the box. One of the first ones, actually the first one I painted, was Rowan Thistlemore Fighter. There's a number of characters, not just monsters, but like dungeon adventure type figures. There's a nice QR code for more Reaper products if you're interested. But this one just really seemed to, it's like, oh, they're actually, they're very busy. They're very nice. They've got a lot of accoutrements, as it were, a lot of equipment on them. And I thought I would start with this one because she looked really good to me. And then when I got into painting her, I was like, oh my goodness, there are so many straps. So many straps. Straps everywhere. But yeah, I really like the whole Dungeoneer, and wandering adventure kind of thing. That they've got all of their equipment on their giant backpack and the bedroll and just all kinds of fun stuff for her. And I thought, what, I'll paint her up first. And it took me a while again because, when you've got leather armor and leather belts and leather pouches and leather scabbards, that's a lot of brown, and I didn't probably differentiate these as much as I could, but I really wanted them to be slightly differentiated so it just wasn't a giant blob of brown. And I tried to do her barding, that's more horse armor, but I've forgotten the term for this actual type of armor, such that it popped a little bit. I did really well on the back that you can't see anymore because of the backpack, so there you go. But that's Rowan Thistlemore from the collection. It was also a dragon, large. Now, it's not as large as some dragons I've got in my collection from other companies, but it's a decent size. I've already got another thing to start painting it. The wings are separate. I did glue those in and then puttied over that so that they would, once it's painted, there's less of a gap there. I'm considering either a metallic or jewel type dragon with this one just because the scales are so sharp. But it's a very nice sculpt. Very nice sculpt. And these are all plastic and or resin, just FYI. There was also a selection of oozes. There's a large ooze that had a separate bit. These bubbles on top were actually a completely separate bit. I think that's because they cast it hollow and they needed a place for the air to go. Interestingly enough, there is a base kind of for that, which will be very hard to see because it's translucent plastic right now, but it's got a pile of bones and armor bits and weapons and general nastiness. And the fun thing about that is it does fit inside there, but then it's very hard to see because this is translucent, non-transparent. I'm actually considering taking this inner piece, painting it up, and then casting my own clear resin on top of it to make yet another, like maybe a gelatinous cube or something, just so that you can actually see all the work that went into this particular piece of it. With the larger ooze is very nice, and these are all cast in translucent plastic. One of which, there are two smaller oozes. That's what they look like in a giant ham hand, unpainted. Come on, focus. There we go. And the second one, there were two small oozes in that package. I took, and basically I have some old Citadel inks, and I just put a little bit of ink on it, so it still keeps that. Can't really tell with the light in front of it rather than behind it, but it keeps some of that translucentness going. What the hell is that? Anyway, and I originally didn't have it on a base, but then I thought, you know what, it looks really stupid all by itself, so I put it on a base. They'll all be based at some point. It's based. And then there's also like a Wraith, whose backing card I neglected to have handy, just like the oozes. So this is a very nice Wraith. If you're into that sort of thing, comes with some scenic elements on the base. It's got a nice section of fence that goes on the back here to create a nice little scene, graveyard type scene. And this one's, I just like the way this looked. It's very, I like the way the drapery flows, and I do kind of like wraiths, and so that's going to be also in the painting queue. So we will take a look here at what's left. What's in the box? What's left in the box here, and it's quite a plethora of wonderful items in here. Let's see if we can stick that back with it. No, of course it's. Now that I've closed it, the box is not going to stay open. And then we, drop it in the floor, as you do. As you do. Because, interestingly, because this box is so full, it did not have any packing material in it. They were actually, the people that packed this box are amazing. It was Tetrised in there in such a way that nothing moved, nothing shifted in shipping. It was amazing. So since stuff has decided to fall out at me, we'll start with Colette, Mournful Spirit. Another Wraith type figure. This one of Elvish Persuasion. A little bit difficult to see the blister there, but on the side. But yeah, these are all very, very crisp castings. And some cultists, because who doesn't need cultists, right? And I don't really have cultists per se in my collection, so these made a nice addition. And Hellhounds. Now, I've had Hellhounds before. I think I had a couple from Rolpartha back in the day, and I think I painted them up like German Shepherds. So these will be a little bit different, I think. The styling is a little bit different than the older metal miniatures from back in the day. These look good, though. Get a really good shot, and right as you get a really good shot, then he falls and goes out of range of the camera. So there you go. Next up, we've got Landarl Brighthelm, Wizard. And as you can see, this is one of the character miniatures. So much detail, just like Rowan Thistlemore. It's got his own back... actually, that's a book, I think. A book pack. No, it's a backpack with a scroll case? Yeah, it's got to be a scroll case on the side there. I could open it, but I don't want to start losing bits. As you can see from the 3D printing there, some leftover supports, which is fine. They're easy enough to remove. But yeah, so much detail on these guys, and very, very crisp and clean, these 3D prints. And next up, we have with an included hair. I didn't. That one's on the outside. The other one's not, though. So, woo! Double prizes. We've got some monstrous centipedes that I think were part of the stretch goal. I'd have to go back and check the Kickstarter, but you know, again, another monster that I did not have in my collection. Excuse me while I shift my leg. Now we've got a harpy. I never got around to ordering a harpy back in the day, so this is going to be fun to have, especially with a nice scenic base there. It looks like a tree stump. That one's a little bit challenging with the shininess of the blister. The separate wings. Separate wings almost look like they're a different plastic, but yeah, very, very nice. Very nice. Next up, we have Herrick Stronghammer Cleric, another one of the character miniatures, who is currently being murdered to death by his backpack. There we go. A very nice, standard, hammery dwarf. I guess I should hold that still for a minute so people can see it. Another backpack with lots of straps and axes and things. His has got a keg on it. Look on the side. It looks like a little pony keg. So that's pretty cool. Don't know if you can see the emblem on his shield. Oh, there we can. Just barely. Oh yes, it's very nice. So next up, we have hitting the camera because we always have to do that at least once per video. We have an Ogre Thumper. I do have an ogre in my collection. It's a very nice Realm-Partha sculpt. It's a little bit, it's not quite as, and it's a big miniature. It's still not quite as chunky as this one. This will be interesting. And that's one of the nice things about, as the plastic casting has gotten better, the resin casting and the 3D prints, is that because they're lighter, that's a plus and a minus, really, but because they're lighter, you can get really chonkulous miniatures without, you know, the miniature weighing 8 pounds and being difficult to move around and falling over under its own weight. So now the lighter plastic and resin miniatures do have, you know, the issue of they're lighter, so, you know, strong breeze can blow some of them away. But, you know, you got to take the rough with the smooth. Next up is a female Hobgoblin Warrior. And all that implies. No, it's very, very nice sculpt. If you're into hobgoblins, which, you know, I think I have. Do I have a hobgoblin? I mean, I do now, clearly. A nice separate shield there, so you can get some of the details underneath, although some of them will be underneath the backing for the shield, so that's makes it not quite as easy to, I mean, not quite as detailed to paint. That's the word I was going for. There we go. And then we have a more troll. Now, I do like this sculpt. I do like it a lot. My absolute favorite trolls ever were from the AD&D line that Realm-Partha did. Those are my absolute favorite troll sculpts ever. But I do really like this one a lot, and it's actually reminiscent of those, although it's wearing more clothing for sure, for one thing. But in a different pose, and I think it's actually quite a bit larger. But yeah, it's a nice Moor troll. And we also have some monstrous ticks, because nothing says adventuring like giant ticks. There we go. Get one loose there. And the plastic, the resin they're using to print these in, it actually holds up pretty well. It is strong enough that it doesn't, just wobble all over the place. But it's got a little bit of flex to it, so they're not, completely and utterly brittle that if you look at them wrong, they're going to shatter all over the table. Cerrictus, Skeleton Knight. I believe is actually the one that is being used as the iconography there on the packages and on the box. I'm running out of places to put packages. And we have some fire beetles. Now the fire beetles are also cast in translucent resin, or printed in translucent resin. Translucent resin, which allows you to do some fun things with inks and washes and things, which clearly I have not done yet, but we'll get there. Fire beetles, two fire beetles, 2 purple hoppers. A Minotaur. I do have a couple of Minotaurs in my collection. They're older Partha miniatures. I think one of them is actually from Dragonlance, so they're clearly not quite this large. This guy is beefy. No pun intended. This guy's large. He could almost be a Tauren from WoW. Almost. But very good looking. Also good looking cow. Alrighty. And next we have the Fingratch, which I'm not even sure I'm pronouncing that correctly because I have no idea what the hell it is. It looks kind of like to me it looks vaguely reminiscent of an Autia or oh no, it's like a beholder. There we go. It's like a beholder. But they can't use a beholder because, reasons. Get off of there. So it's got sort of, rather than eye stalks, it's got sort of grabby, tentacly things, although those could be eyes still in there, regardless. But yeah, it's pretty clean. A little bit armored there. And we have a lesser basilisk. He's a small guy. With a very, very, very nice sculpt. Very nice sculpt. I like his I like the base, the way the base is done with the space for his the pegs coming off his feet, but it sort of looks like you could just grab that and use it as a dinosaur tracks in something like Alex Bates's Azor game setting. That would be interesting. So then we have armored skeletons. 4 of those guys. So some kind of generic guys, but I like the way they look. Kind of remind me of the ones in the hoods that remind me a little bit of the guys from Tombs of the Blind Dead, if you've ever seen that movie. Next up, we have a charnel grub. Charnel grub. Very nasty and gross looking, but it'll be fun to paint. It's got some nice tentacles there, or feelers to go in the slots on his head. Quite cool. Next to last, we have Trissa Cloverhill Rogue, who is not in focus. There we go. Again, one of the adventures. And honestly, I hadn't dug completely through the box. I thought I had. I hadn't seen her before. If I had, I might have painted her first instead of Miss Thistlemore. But again, got the nice backpack. Got another bedroll on there. Got some extra knives, little rope. Very cool. Can't tell if that's supposed to be bent like that. I'll have to open that up at some point and see if that's supposed to be bent like that. And the final section is armored goblins. You gotta have goblins if you have a hobgoblin, right? So turn those where you can see some goblins. It's very classic goblins. Spear, axe, and bow, it looks like, yep. Oh, and the one guy with a sword in the underneath the pile. Yeah, big falchion it looks like. So very cool. There we have it. That is the pretty much the basic collection of figures from the Dungeon Dwellers Kickstarter, with the addition, I believe, of the stretch goal figures. There were, I think, 3 sets. I think the armored skeletons and I think the cultists may have been both stretch goals. I'm clearly not going to get this packed back in here the same way they had it when they shipped it. Again, that was whoever packed this box for me when they were shipping this stuff out. You are amazing, and thank you, because again, nothing moved in shipping. Nothing slid, nothing slided around, nothing broke. So that was pretty awesome. But that's the wonder of it all. Again, it will keep me in, like I didn't have enough to paint already. That will keep me in items to paint for quite some time. And I heartily recommend, if you enjoy miniatures and I don't know when these are, like they finally, I think, done all of the order fulfillment. So I don't know when or if these will actually become part of the main Reaper site. But if and when they do, I would definitely recommend at least taking a look at them if you're into monster miniatures, or if you were interested in the game Dungeon Dwellers. Definitely take a look. I think they were worth. Considering how much I got here, I think they were definitely worth the price. So I think we'll end it there for the day. As always, thanks for watching. Feel free to like, subscribe, comment, ask questions. I love the engagement. And we will see you next time.